what I looked like when I crossed the 10K.
Okay, we're ready to go here in council meeting in Spanish Fork City. Thank you, everyone, for coming and attending in person and online, wherever you may be in the world. We appreciate your involvement in your city. We'll get started like we always do in Spanish Fork with a motivational message, prayer, and then the pledge. Councilman Cardin has the motivational message tonight, and Councilman Took will lead us in the pledge after that.
Yeah, it looks like the person that I had invited was stuck and not able to make it, so I'll just go ahead and say a prayer. Thank you. Our Father in heaven, we are thankful to be gathered together today. We're thankful, Father, to be able to do the city's business here and to live in this beautiful town. We're thankful, Father, for all those that volunteer and help our city to be what it is. We're thankful for our servicemen and women that keep us safe. We ask Thee, Father, to protect them as they go about their business, that they may be protected from harm or accident, and that they can help those in need and in some of the terrible times. And we ask that we can again go about the business of the city today with clear minds, and we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please rise and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for that. We have a recognition before we get to public comment tonight. I think the chief is here going to introduce us to this recognition.
Thanks, Mayor and Council, for this opportunity. This is an awesome recognition to happen tonight, as we have one of those in our community that did something that not very many people have happen, where they survived a cardiac arrest event. And so tonight it's with gratitude to, one, have Lisa here with us tonight. And I believe Lisa reached out to us and wanted to recognize our folks and all the law enforcement officers that responded and aided to her when she was in her worst moment. As far as statistics go, I know you've heard me share the statistic before here, and I'll share it again just because I think it's important. Less than 10% of Americans who go into cardiac arrest survive outside of the hospital. She is one of the greater than those 10%. And I want to just put another statistic out there that I'm very proud of as the fire chief, is that 13% in 2024 of our cardiac arrests in our city were survived outside of the hospital. So 13%, less than 10% nationwide do. Here in the city, we've had 13% in 2024. That goes to show that our citizens know CPR. We're getting hands on chest. We're getting officers and first responders to their aid quickly. And because of that, these individuals in our community are living through cardiac arrest events, which is super cool. Tonight you'll see there's several people's names that were on this incident at Lisa's aid, and 13 people. And some would say, well, that's an extensive amount of people. Those of you who have watched Grey's Anatomy on TV might see a cardiac arrest or a trauma event go into the television ER room, and there's several people. That's real life. It takes several people in a traumatic or a cardiac arrest event to save a life, and that's why we respond with so many people, so that everybody has a job and everybody knows what they're doing, and every little thing that's done is because it saves lives. And so tonight we're here to recognize those individuals that aided to Lisa on June 2nd, 2025, when she went into cardiac arrest in her living room. Those officers that are here from the Spanish Fork Police Department as well as the Sheriff's Office, I want to have you all come up, and any of the firefighters that were there as well. Sheriff Deputy Munson, Detective Fox, Officer Seddon, Officer Peterson, Officer Anderson, Firefighter Paramedic Terry, Firefighter Paramedic Miller, Engineer Draper, Captain Brown, Firefighter at AEMT Larson, AEMT Byrne, Firefighter AEMT Logan, and Battalion Chief Edwards. It's not very often, as you know, in this field that we get to be recognized by a survivor. And so it's an incredible moment that you get to be here to be recognized by her. And with that, I will turn a little bit of time over to Lisa to share a few words, and then also Lacey from Intermountain Healthcare is here as well, representing the care that they provided from the Intermountain Health side as well.
Hi, I am a talker, but I'm not a public speaker. But I'm super nervous, and I'm very grateful. It took the entire team to save my life that night, starting with my husband, who's my hero. But I've already thanked him like 1,000 times, so tonight's the night I want to thank everybody else. The EMS, the first responders, the police, because of you guys, I get to hug my loved ones again. Because of you, I get more time in this life. You have all given me the greatest gift, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my grateful, slightly damaged heart. And all of my family's here, not all of them, but most of them. And I know they'd want to thank you too. And there's really nothing you can do. I brought you guys cinnamon rolls. But I mean, there's nothing you can really do to thank people for saving your life. But I'm doing a lot better now. It's been a couple months, so anyway, but thank you so much to all of you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lacey Miller. I'm the Medical Surgical Intensive Care Unit Manager at Spanish Fork Hospital. And I wanted to take a moment to recognize the incredible Spanish Fork EMS team that we have. Your dedication and expertise in the field make a world of difference. Sorry, I don't know why I'm emotional. I'm so proud of you guys. Not just to the patients you care for, thank you, but to those of us who have the privilege of receiving them. The care you provide is remarkable, and it never goes unnoticed. Intermountain Health works closely with our EMS crews because we know we're better when we work together. Clear communication is key, especially when patients are en route to us, and knowing what facilities are available for emergency care helps us to ensure that every patient lands where they'll receive the best possible treatment. At Spanish Fork Hospital, we're proud to be a part of a system designed to keep care close to home. We're equipped with modern medical technology, and we're growing. We're actively working to expand, hopefully break ground in the next month or two. And when a higher level of care is needed for our patients, we can seamlessly transfer them with the assistance of our EMS team to another facility that works and will be able to provide that higher level of care. Before I close, I want to wish Lisa all the best in her next chapter. Your presence has meant a great deal to all of us. And to our entire EMS crew, I've had the opportunity to work with many of you in resuscitations and in very difficult critical situations, and you guys are amazing, so thank you.
Certificate of life-saving award that I'm going to give each one of these that are here, as well as our law enforcement. They deserve a challenge coin from us as well. And the other officers I'll give to Chief, and he can take to them. And one might ask, why a deputy here? But that's what's so cool about our system. When a call for service goes out, it goes out over the valley's radios, and deputy here was right there in the area, and she was the first one on scene and started CPR. And so because of the quick action of Lisa's husband and then our deputy Munson here, that's why we save lives. Without early CPR, without early defibrillation, nothing else that we do on the EMS side is able to be done. And so thank you for being quick to the aid. Thanks to the officers that are always our fast responders that are there quicker than us usually and getting hands on chest. So we couldn't do it without all of these folks. So they're heroes in its own regard there that way. So thank you all, and I think maybe these guys want a picture with you. Sure, right, Mayor?
That'd be okay, Lisa? Can you come up here and get a picture with us with all these people?
At least a baby set her too.
Comes full circle.
I didn't recognize her the day of, but then when she came up, I was like,
Oh,
"You're a Bradford. You guys recognize me? I'm Albert and April's daughter."
Hornaby's daughter.
Yeah. One of you babysat me. I don't know which
It was
one.
mostly Jonah, but
Yeah.
it happens sometimes.
Come stand up here.
Right here, if we could.
And then all of
Lisa, have you get right in the middle.
You're not out of this.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
You look great. Look like you had an event.
Hey, thank you for saying
Well, thank you. Appreciate you, Lisa, for being here, and everybody. That what comes to mind when I think about that is Chief mentions a 10% average, and then 13% being here in town, and 3% might not sound like a lot statistically, but for lives, that's a big deal, and certainly a big deal to Lisa and her family and everyone involved. So thank you so much. Such a blessing to have a hospital in our community, to have competent and full-time people, and there she is giving her cinnamon rolls away to yeah, can you grab one?
As quick as I've seen you move.
It's pretty neat stuff with full-time and competent people in town, and the hospital in town certainly making a difference in care for our community. So congratulations. Okay, takes us to public comments section of our agenda tonight. This is where the public can address mayor and council. Anything that's on your mind doesn't have to be on the agenda, but please try to keep it to 3 minutes so we can respect everybody else's time. Jack's our timer that puts it up there, but anybody that would like to address the mayor and council with public comments, certainly welcome to. And if you'll start with just your name so Tara can get you on the record.
Yeah, my name is Justin Blomquist. Sorry, that's close.
That's all right. Thank you, Justin.
And my issues seem pretty small compared to that awesome recognition. That was awesome. But am I good to start? Oh, starting. Okay. So I bought a townhouse in Quiet Valley, a community developed by D.R. Horton up by the windmills. And I'm here to discuss kind of some of the issues we have in our community that I believe the city's aware of, and I hope that they're aware of. We've had an overpour of concerns and issues that we've raised to D.R. Horton, the developer, and they were responding to us and helping out. We got some things resolved, but now they have stopped communicating with us at all, and some of the issues are pretty big and have not been resolved. The main issues our community has is there's an unwanted pond that is in the middle of our community and this pond was not there when I first moved in, and it's not in the city plans. My grandpa's a civil engineer. I was able to get the plans, and they are not in the city plans that were approved. It's a huge safety concern, and then the area around the pond is supposed to be a hydro-seeded grass, and it's supposed to have nice flower beds and a walking path. Currently, the unwanted pond is covering the path. The weeds are overtaking the planned grass and has almost completely killed the grass. It's an eyesore and a safety hazard for our kids in our neighborhood. I have pictures as well if anybody would like to see them. D.R. Horton has scheduled our HOA turnover for September 4th, so a month away. And I've recently spoken with the community development team and the planning department in the city, and it sounds like that these issues are still being worked on but are not going to be resolved by September 4th. So our concern as the Quiet Valley community is that if the HOA turnover happens before these issues are resolved, our community, who are mostly young kids, young married kids like me, who are already struggling to afford these townhomes are going to have our HOA fees go up. Our current HOA fees are $120 a month, and we are worried about a significant increase if these issues are not fixed, because we are going to have to band together as a HOA and fix these communities. So as a 25-year-old with limited experience, or not very much experience in these things, my plea and question for the city is who's the best person at the city to talk to help resolve these issues? What steps can we take before September 4th to ensure that D.R. Horton, the developer, actually fixes these issues? And does the city have any resources or recommendations to help us and our community fix these issues? I believe these areas are a shared interest between the city and our community, Quiet Valley. From my understanding, I believe some of the areas are going to be maintained by the city. So just kind of in closing, we as a community and I want to keep our city and neighborhood looking nice and affordable to live in. And I thank you so much for hearing me out, and I appreciate all your help in advance.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Great questions. Great questions. We'll get those to the right people, and we'll see if anybody else has any public comment.
Okay.
But maybe while you're here, we might try to tackle a couple things.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Put your contact information on the sign.
Yes, I did, I believe.
Anyone else for the public comment section? Okay, seeing none, we'll go out of public comment. Anything, city manager, you want to tackle with Justin's questions there?
Yeah, thank you. On one hand, I'm really sorry. This is super frustrating. I can see the circumstance that you're in, and if I were in your shoes, I'd probably be doing the exact same thing. So I recognize that and feel really badly. The purchase of your home is probably the single largest investment that you and I will ever make. And so wanting to make sure that things are how you think they should be and how you hoped or expected that they would be is super important. We have very limited role once a project is approved because of state statute, to where we can be involved in the actual the actual development and even inspection of it's called a private development. And so I'm going to look to our city attorney here in just a moment to maybe fill in some of the blanks or maybe give better insights. And then, honestly, I think what I'd like to do, if you can wait a few minutes, we'll get through a certain part of the agenda, and then maybe I'll grab you and go outside and we can chat just a little bit more specifics. But 2 years ago, the state legislature passed a law referencing that law from the 2023 session. It's House Bill 406, and there are many provisions in this state law. But specifically, the state law has provisions in there, and I'll paraphrase it thanks to our city attorney, that landscaping improvements that are not public landscaping improvements, we cannot require bonds for, and we don't have oversight for. A public improvement is a street, a park, not HOA spaces, which feels like it is public because HOA is common area, right? But those areas have been specifically defined as not public. And so because of that, the state legislature removed our ability and our role in the management of that once approval happens, which is the very beginning. And that was on purpose, specifically given to help ensure the lack of regulation, not to make it bad, but just there are thoughts in the development process that regulation equals cost, which means your house might cost you more, and try in the effort of trying to lower the price. And so we don't have a whole lot. Candidly, it might be helpful. And I'd look to you guys, and don't mean to put any of you on the spot here, but it might be helpful. We have had numerous conversations in the Community Development Office with representatives of the builder here, asking them to be diligent, asking them to care more, asking them to meet the concerns that you have. And I think that probably has achieved a little bit, but it sounds like it hasn't moved the needle all the way. And so maybe there's room for some of you to apply some pressure there. Again, we don't have a formal or legal standing that we can get involved, but I think maybe there is a, hey, if some of you reached out, and we can certainly coordinate some of that with you if you'd like. Vaughn, anything specifically additional you want to say publicly? And then again, if you give just a few moments, we get through a few things here, we can chat a little bit more.
I think you covered it pretty well. It's really just private property rights issue between the owners in that subdivision, yourself and others that are owners of the common area, and and the declarant, who the developer that established the CC&Rs and created the common areas. So, like Seth mentioned, that we can't require any bonds, we can't do any inspections or anything. We don't have any role at all with the private landscaping, which is, really relatively recent. Throughout my whole career, we used to do that. We used to require HOA landscaping and inspect it, make sure it was installed and everything, but a few years ago that was removed.
That sounds hollow, doesn't it?
Well, I believe there are some bonds there. From what I've talked to with some of these people at the city, I believe there are a couple bonds there, but I don't know
Yeah,
how that works.
we can look in that. I don't know offhand, but we can look at that. But it's frustrating, and there are good reasons behind, I think, the law change, but it leaves you, I think, as a landowner a little bit in the lurch. One question I had, and I don't know anything about the development or the eventual progress of an HOA, and maybe you don't either, Vaughn, but can you, is there a process that you as landowners, as the homeowners, can you delay taking it over, not accept it, not reject, or reject it until a certain time? I think that's an avenue worth exploring. You've got this looming deadline, and instead of that pressure on you of saying, well, I guess we have to take whatever you give us, you're saying, no, we want the pretty picture that you've given me. This is what we want. And I don't know anything about that. So
I'm sure that turns on the language of the CC&Rs,
okay.
Which I'm not familiar with.
Okay, yeah. So give me a few moments and we can pick up a little bit outside. I just want to get out there, you and me, get a cinnamon roll.
Yeah, he's angling for a roll too. Justin, those are great questions. I think, again, like the city manager mentioned, you're in the right place in that where else would you come after exhausting what you've exhausted with your development? Where I put myself in your shoes and would be frustrated is, so I buy a home and it's in the name of, somewhat affordability that I could afford. I paid impact fees, through buying the home. There were impact fees on there, and you're paying some taxes, right? You're paying all the stuff that services to live in a city, plus the HOA component, and then this private area that an HOA is supposed to take care of isn't taken care of. It's certainly up to the standards that people would expect in the city that you live in. And so I certainly hear you, empathize with you, and let you know from the council's perspective too, we have seen every single one of those emails. We've talked about those emails, not in private conversations or anything, because we talk about these things in public, but one-offs. I know I've mentioned it to almost every councilman. You've got those emails, right? And then getting them to staff so we can see all the avenues that we can help take care of. I will tell you what maybe Seth is referencing to on a deadline of a month from now is we have partners in the legislature that was part of the law passed at the state level. Now those local legislators are our friends. We call them our friends, and we work with them on a lot of projects together. This is something that we're up at the state legislature probably saying just as loud as anyone as a city is, when we pass some laws like this in the name of affordability, there's unintended consequences, and those unintended consequences are, where do you think people are going to go but the city to try to solve some of these issues? And so we can certainly politically talk to our partners that way and let them know, here's a real world example that is just a few months old now of people that have living here, and what's the state's solution for these people? What should it be? And also on the developer's part, I don't have anybody from D.R. Horton in my phone. I don't know anybody from that building company, but I know our economic development people do. And I think there's some discussions there that may be able to happen from our perspective of them wanting to, continue to build in Spanish Fork and be a good partner. Boy, we've heard some stories about maybe how you weren't a good partner, right? And didn't take care of stuff. So there's certain conversations that I think you're in the right place to your representatives to have. And I think I can speak for the council, all of us, in saying we're committed to have those discussions for you, especially with something looming. I guess my thought about the 9/4 deadline there too, just to put it on the record, is when an HOA is turned over, and I've never lived in one, but when an HOA is turned over to you, you guys have to create a board, right? And now you have to see the finances probably more than you ever have now. I don't know what the HOA balance is. And usually what I've heard, there's not a lot of money in the HOA balance. But boy, I almost think if there was a way that when that is turned over, if there's an amount of money in there that can take care of some of these problems, because financially that's going to be the thing is, hey, can we put a drain here? Can we fix this stuff that needs to be fixed? And that's going to be money. Is there money there to do it? And now you guys do it, and I don't know, that's a hypothetical there, but I can commit that in the meantime, we're going to do what we can on our side. Talk to both the home builder there and the people that have made the law that we're living under now, and try to see about a resolution sooner rather than later for you, even if it's not something that we're liable for, or that we by law can go and fix. But what solutions can we come up with?
I have texted Representative White, who actually he's one of our representatives, and he was responsible. That was one of his bills, so he'll have a keen interest in this, and he'll, I'm sure, be interested in the details, the background, and what's going on, and certainly how it resolves. So I've reached out to him in the last 10 minutes, so that's I'm sure he'll want to follow up.
I did hear of it happening in another city in Saratoga Springs with the same developer, D.R. Horton, and yeah, I'm hoping we can get this figured out.
Yeah. So, Mayor, I just want to re-emphasize kind of what you said, and that is, I believe this is the first development that we've, at least while I've been on council, that we've interacted with D.R. Horton.
Oh, yeah.
So we've not had a track record to go off of. So I want to thank you, Justin, for coming in tonight and sharing. I want to thank, your neighbors that have emailed us and made us aware. Make sure you let them know that we appreciate it, because of you, the residents, making us aware of how the developers are. That's something as council and mayor that we won't forget. So thank you.
Seth, a quick question. I've had some residents in Quiet Valley reach out to me at different times about this, and one of the things that they are being told by D.R. Horton is that we own the property underneath the power lines. Can you talk about that so that we can kind of put that out there in the public? Because I think that's a misconception that's kind of going around.
Yeah, let me pull up the map just to make sure I'm in the right space that you're talking about.
Because that's where the pond is located, right?
Correct, yeah.
Under the power lines?
There's also 20 feet. So from my back porch, there's 20 feet that is, there's a water easement and there's a power easement. And it's really messy in that area.
For sure, yeah. And I've drove it and walked it several times, but.
And while Seth's bringing that up, it reminds me of a conversation had not too many months ago. I bet it's not been a year ago, and I've been doing this for 12 years now, so I know I've had this at least a half a dozen times. But this was a commercial development, again, about a year ago, that came to us as they were finalizing their building and said, hey, I don't want to put this many trees, and I don't want to put this bulb out in this area, and I don't want to do this much grass, and I don't want to do this kind of landscaping, and we said, well, then why did you submit the plans that have it on it? These are your plans. We didn't make these plans. You submitted these plans, and we approved these plans, and it's our job to hold you to the plans that you submitted to inspect, right? And so, there was the discussion there of well, what is our role? And that's why we do charge you fees and everything else, is so we can keep this continuity going through this area. And the frustrating disconnect here, is you have somebody submitting plans and us saying, okay, that development looks right, but then by law that just changed a few years ago saying, well, here's the plans, and then when we say, well, you didn't build it to the plans, well, that's the HOA that's going to have to deal with that, not the city hold to account. And again, I'm sure in the name of less regulation means less cost, but in an instance like this, it's an unintended consequence that puts it on the backs of people that are moving into a new home.
So we're talking about the land. There are 2 power lines. You're talking about the northernmost one.
Towards
right?
the north of the property.
Yeah, that one. That land is owned by Rocky Mountain Power. I think we barely in the last month or two were able to secure the rights to do anything on that property from Rocky Mountain Power. I've looked at some of the language, and this is kind of splitting hair, maybe, but the developer has said, we didn't say grass, we said native seed. And native seed is this, kind of I think what you probably are looking at.
Weeds?
Well, yeah, actually, native. Go look in the wild and see native. That's what they're talking about. And I don't know what all was in, some of the language, or certainly on the pictures that they would have shown throughout the development of the subdivision, but that's at least some of the things that they have said.
A little bit of insight to that is, so there was hydro seed that was put it down. That's that hydro seeded grass, and it was indeed sprayed and put down, but since has died, and the weeds, like spiky weeds and sunflowers and other stuff, have grown over that stuff. So the stuff that they planted to be the native hydro seed has died.
So
we are working towards potentially doing something with that land, but it hasn't happened yet, and it's just barely in the process.
Yeah, we don't own it. We don't have any immediate plans for it. I think originally the hope was that we could have 2 years ago something that would give us more rights to do things, but we barely got that not too long ago.
Justin, do you know, is D.R. Horton claiming that the unwanted pond was part of engineering and part of a retention basin?
No, so they agree that it is not in the
Okay.
plans.
But that's our
They
problem.
are working on it. There's a tractor out there. It hasn't moved in 2 months, but it's there. So, and they said they're working on it, and that's what the city said as well, is that D.R. Horton is working on it. And I believe that. We're just concerned that the turnover is going to happen, and then they're going to stop working on it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'd have that same concern.
It's a good concern.
Thank you. Good questions, Justin. Appreciate you coming here. You're coming to the right place.
I can see the
Anything
pond
else?
on the satellite view. So there it is.
Can you see it?
Yeah, it's Utah Lake.
Large.
It's not Utah Lake, but you can see it.
Okay. We'll get you information. We'll certainly follow up with you. After public comments, we'll go to council comments, and I think we're going to start with Councilwoman Beck, because she said she has a lot on her.
We all gave her our time.
Yeah, we've yielded time.
I just have a laundry list today.
Councilwoman Beck, and then we'll go after that.
Okay, thank you. I, of course, want to start right off with Fiesta Days, and Jack will just kind of scroll through some of the photos. And I think I'll just speak for all of us. We want to thank everybody who participated, all the people that put so much into this, especially our volunteers, hundreds and hundreds of volunteers, from our executive committee and chairs to the Youth City Council, speakers, performers, athletes, businesses. This could not happen without you. And then our Spanish Fork City employees, all of them, work extra hours. They're creative thinkers. They are facing some challenging situations, and they just have a love and patience for this community, and we want to thank them. And then our residents. this wouldn't happen if you didn't show up. So thank you for showing up. It's fun for us to be out talking with you, seeing the smiling faces, seeing our parks full at all of the different events, and then helping where you can. So thanks for helping 2025 Fiesta Days be one of the best Fiesta Days yet. Our heartfelt appreciation from all of us. So was that pretty quick?
That was a lot quicker than I thought it'd be. Good.
Thank you.
Wow. I thought you nailed it, Councilmember Beck.
Thanks. I also sit on the library board, and the summer reading program has just ended. Their goal was to have 1 million minutes read this month, and they had 1.2 million minutes.
Wow.
Super cool. And on Saturday evening, they had their year-end party. Between 400 and 500 people showed up. They had a lot of cool activities. They had reptile showing over here in the Heritage Room. It was very well attended. So thank you to the Youth City Council and the Library Board who showed up to volunteer their time on a Saturday night to participate there. I also wanted to just let the community know that they meaning the library, has radon kits and reports, the Utah County Department of Environment Quality reports that radon exposure is the second leading cause of lung cancer in Utah, with 1 in 3 homes having elevated radon levels. And with that being said, we had our home tested like 2 years ago. Our home is only 10 years old. One neighbor's was really high, one was really low. We had to get something put in our home to help with those levels. So even if maybe your neighbor's levels are not high, I would highly encourage you to get it tested, and you can come right down here to the library and borrow one of those kits. And the Children Market on Main is this Saturday. That's always something fun to attend, and it's from 10 to 1 at the City Hall Park. And Library of the year, and I said library. Yard. Okay. Yard of the week. We're in our last month. We only have 3 more weeks. So I'm sure you're following our fabulous social media, our content guru over there, Jack. He's fun. It's fun to read what you come up with for all of these different yards, and all of the yards are so unique. Thank you for your nominations. Easy to do. Hop online, nominate someone. Pictures are extremely helpful, and thanks to the committee that votes every week. So I think that's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you,
Thanks.
Councilwoman Beck. Thanks for all your hard work as well during Fiesta Days.
Yep.
Councilman Marshall.
Not a lot, just again to reiterate what Councilmember Beck said. Thank you for the volunteers, city employees. Again, amazing. I'm sitting there in the park. That's a long day on the 24th for everyone in the city, I think. But I'm in the park, and the officers are walking through, making sure we're all behaving ourselves, which is just like spot on. And they're just interacting, right? They're not just walking through and scowling. That's Matt's job. But they're interacting with the community. Like, they're in the community, being part of the community. I appreciate that, Chief. All of our first responders are right there to help every single day. But, Channel 17's there. It's well put on, and we couldn't do it without the hundreds of volunteers that did it. My brother and his wife are volunteers now, and there's definitely a moment when they're like, "Why did I do this?"
The day of, you always ask.
And I think that there is every one of those volunteers is like, at some point, go, "Oh," and then they forget, and then they go back and do it again.
It's kinda
But
like
we
childbirth.
appreciate it a lot. I mean, we couldn't have such a great celebration without them. So thank you very much. That's it.
Thanks, Shane.
Very good stuff. Thank you, Councilman Marshall. Councilman Took.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Okay, so we have this evening with us from the Chamber of Commerce, we have Whitney Ferguson, our Director of Administration. So thanks for joining us. Not that you have to say anything, but it's good to see you here, and you do so much for the Chamber. And then our CEO and President, Kathleen Levin. So either of you or both of you are welcome to come on up and tell us about what's going on.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay.
With the Chamber, and Whitney can share her message that she brought for us tonight. So, just a few upcoming dates.
today we cut a ribbon for T-Box here in Spanish Fork. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but it's a new golf simulator here in Spanish Fork over by the Kidtopia behind Intermountain Hospital. It's super cool. They're having an open house on Friday night, the 8th. But you guys, if you have time to go and check out T-Box, it's not just a golf simulator. They also have training. They've got the hot and cold thing, is it Creo, where you go into a sauna and then go into the ice bath. It's supposed to help with your golf sport, as well as some other luxury training. They have a gym in there for specially training the muscles you need for golfing. So it's really their intention is to, what's that?
You have to have muscles to golf?
Well, they built a gym to teach you how to build muscles to golf. So, go visit the T-Box.
Will it improve my miniature golf score?
I can't see why it wouldn't. You know, anyway, they've done a really, really good job building it, and they just opened it today, so we're excited to welcome them. Next up, we have our. The Levitt Group is having a grand reopening on Main Street. That will be on August 20th from 12 to 1. That one will be a really fun one to celebrate them. They've been members for a really long time and have just gone through a remodel. So the Levitt Group will be celebrating them on the 20th. And the 21st of August is New Networking. We'll be at the Hampton Inn this month. Shepherd's Carpet will be doing a small presentation as their sponsors, but we're also going to be doing some networking games and team building activities, which was really fun last month. Into early September, just a couple of activities to note. On September 3rd will be our Women in Business. That will be at 12:30 at Protection Self-Storage. We have a professional organizer coming in to help teach us how to create amazing spaces inside of our home. So that will be a really fun Women in Business. And then September 4th is our next business after hours from 5 to 7 p.m. hosted at Rasmussen Jewelers' new location on the other side of Vasa. I just toured it yesterday with Mike Lee's business outreach coordinator, and he has done an amazing job. It's really quite the luxury jewelry shopping experience here in Spanish Fork, so really excited for him to finish that project. So business after hours at Rasmussen Jewelers on August 4th. What's that? September 4th. September 4th. October 4th was a couple days ago. Or August 4th. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Kathleen, it's time to go home.
It is time to go home. Right, you guys. Anyways, don't pay attention to the dates. Fun things happening.
Thank you, Kathleen. And you may have mentioned this, but in case you didn't know, just newsflash, we have the farmers market going. I saw that kick into gear the last couple, 2 weeks. And so a lot of fun just right outside here. New location this year. So come check it out. And I think a lot of the same vendors will be coming, and just amazing. Okay, that's why I go for the peaches, so as you know. So check it out. But thank you again for being here and for everything, both of you. Just a couple other things from me. So from the Parks and Recreation front, we had the steak fry for coaches this past month, and so that was fantastic. And of course, we have the rec center near completion, which we'll talk a little bit about tonight, this evening, and super exciting. Last thing is just I wanted to echo what's been said already about the Fiesta Days. I'm still on a high from how amazing it was. It was just a dream. So thank you, everybody, for making it that way. That's all for me.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilman Took. Councilman Cardin.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll first invite Whitney to come up. She had a message for us tonight. She was tied up a little bit late. So.
All right, good.
I told Jesse I'd been practicing praying all week, and I almost had it down, but I forgot to pray
I got your back.
for being on time. So this week I've been thinking a lot about Pride and Progress, Spanish Fork Fiesta Days, and we have the book in our Chamber of Commerce that was written by J. Mart. It's black, and it's the 150-year anniversary. So I was thinking about dates, because some of us are old, some of us are young, some of us are learned, some of us are just learning. Spanish Fork was made a city in 1855. The first woman was elected in Spanish Fork in 1897, and her name was Caroline Pace, and she was the treasurer. She wasn't a city councilman, she wasn't a mayor, she was the treasurer, so she could take care of the money. Some of us remember, some of us don't, what happened in April of 1983 that would have put Spanish Fork on the map. That was a long time ago for those who are young. It was just yesterday for those of us who are old, because maybe we hadn't even graduated from high school yet. So April 1983. So at the very end of the book, the very last page, it says, Spanish Fork made national news when earlier on the afternoon of Wednesday, August 10th, 2005, so next week it'll be 20 years, a semi-truck loaded with 35,000 pounds of explosives left the Ensign Bickford plant at the mouth of Spanish Fork Canyon, headed to Oklahoma. The truck overturned in Red Narrows, east of Thistle Junction, then ignited and exploded. It created a crater 75 feet wide and 35 feet deep. It completely closed the canyon to vehicles and the railroad traffic, and created several brush fires. Crews worked through the day and the night to open the canyon less than 2 days later. Thankfully, there were no fatalities, although 10 people were injured. And so Lane says, this event occurred right at the time this edition of the History of Spanish Fork went to press. What could have been a lot worse is now just a footnote in the history of Spanish Fork. So we end this book with a bang, or better said, a boom. And then I was thinking, pride and progress. Be proud of your accomplishments. And this to me is Spanish Fork. But then move on to the next task, because that is where you are needed.
Thanks, Whitney.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you, Whitney. That's great. That leads straight into some things I wanted to talk about. So, Jack, if you can pull up the firefighter pictures. Speaking of things that happen in town that, not necessarily a bang, but they cause a big commotion, we could say. There was a fire on Friday that probably most of us saw the smoke from, or at least heard about. I was over there and talking to Chief as this was happening. We had water trucks from Woodland Hills, I believe from Salem, Spanish Fork, obviously had a huge truck there, and they were going back and forth because this was in the middle of a farmer's field. A hay barn had started on fire from a tractor, and they were just going back and forth, and they were there, I think, over 26 hours is what Chief had said. But it was really cool to see, all of these groups working together. We had police officers there, we had firefighters, we had both full-time firefighters and what used to be volunteer, but now are part-time firefighters from our own city, volunteers from other cities, just helping each other out, helping a neighbor out, helping somebody who just was not having a good day, to say the least, because those hay fires, they burn hot and they burn long. But it was really awesome to see them working together, but also people trying to care for each other and caring for what was going on, and then care for animals. There was a lot of animals over in that area that they were able to protect as well. So thank you to our police officers, our firemen and firewomen that were making sure that was taken care of. Second, I want to echo what Councilmember Bex talked about with Fiesta Days, but I just want to mention two groups real quick. The first is the Youth City Council. As you can see behind us here, there is, a couple dozen members of the youth that are there, but if you were at any event basically during Fiesta Days, you saw them you weren't in these black shirts most of the time, they were in a white Fiesta Days shirt. They gave hundreds and hundreds of hours as high school kids during the summer to our city. It's awesome to see. But also their youth leaders. There's 4 women that help to make sure that this group stays organized, we'll say that, or less chaotic. And they do such an awesome job. I am so grateful to be able to work with this group. So I wanted to just publicly say thank you to them. And then lastly, we had the play of Shrek happening. This is the moment where Shrek is going to, well, we think going to kiss Fiona, but he just shakes her awake. But such an awesome production, a lot of hours go into that, and they do such a good job. The Rap Tax helps to fund this, so I'm thankful for that. And then they will start gearing up like within the next month for next year's Fiesta Days play. And they already have it mentioned, I think, everywhere. I think it's been announced. Maybe I shouldn't announce it. I don't know. Well, it's coming up. They'll make some big announcements about it, and then we'll go from there. But I want to thank those groups just because, again, those are some outliers that do some different things, but thank you for what they do to make Fiesta Days what it is. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Cardin. Good stuff. Councilman Euler.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a lot. Just want to echo my gratitude to everyone involved with Fiesta Days and making that the fantastic event that it was. I do want to kind of pick our city attorney and police chief's brains for a little bit on an event that happened the night of the 24th at the sports park. I found out about it from my 16-year-old who was over there. Apparently there were some teenage kids lighting off some fireworks that probably should not have been in that area, and I don't know what city code is or policy as far as, we go to the sports park on the night of the 24th to watch the fireworks that are lit. The ones that these kids were lighting probably should not have been. My 16-year-old came home and said that he was probably the closest one to the mortar when it went off. He didn't see it, didn't know what was going to happen. Next thing he knows, it just goes off. And so I was grateful that he came home with just a couple of small burns and nothing more. So I don't know. I just want to share my gratitude to, again, our first responders and our police for the hours and hours and hours that they put in over this holiday to make it a safe event for all of us. And maybe just ask a question to you guys. Do you know when there's an event where you've got large groups gathered, I assume it's illegal to be lighting off those types of fireworks?
Yeah,
right?
we're investigating that incident right now. There was some juveniles involved in that, but we're trying to determine who was the actual individual that lit the fireworks off. They're pointing fingers at each other, so our detectives are following up on that. But next year we plan on having more officers in that vicinity where the crowd gathers more, and try to utilize some other individuals to patrol the perimeter where the fallout zone is, where a majority of our people were at that evening. So we're going to take some extra precautionary measures next year to prevent what occurred that night.
Great. Thank you, Chief, for the work that you and your people do. Doesn't go unnoticed, so we're grateful for it. That's all I've got, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Euler. Appreciate that. Maybe to piggyback quickly on that, and just a caution of the teens out there. We're coming to a close of summer. Hopefully your heads get back into a mode where we're not, so brazen with stuff like that. But I can tell you this, events like that too, Channel 17 is usually at all those events. And so they are supplying footage to law enforcement too, to try to help disseminate that. So if you think that's a place you want to try to break the law, you're probably going to be on camera, and it's probably going to be the city's camera. So watch watch out and just be good boys and girls is what you should be. So. Thank you, Councilman Warrior. Thanks for touching on that. Just a couple things really quick. I sent Jack a couple of pictures, but the first one is a guest at the rodeo that came one night, and we're a top 10 rodeo in the PRCA, so we attract top 10 world musicians apparently, and it was handled in a way that we do in Spanish Fork. But it was good to welcome brother Post Malone to our event.
Is he doing the mid-entertainment next year?
Yeah, we're going to try to talk him into it. That's why I gave him a buckle. As I said, we're going to call you for a favor later. But yeah, he got a Spanish Fork City buckle and was gracious about that. When I showed him that, he said, "You don't have to do that," in a very calm voice, and I just thought that was funny. And I'm like, well, I know, but welcome to Spanish Fork. So anyways, good to have him there. And I guess in summary, it's already been talked about, but all the events, not just the top 10 PRCA rodeo that is put on by a committee of people, of volunteers, and then the professional people that come in every single year to help put this event on. But then it extends beyond the rodeo. And I thought this year a statement by our barrel man, J.J. Harrison, summed it up. And I don't know, maybe we'll steal this for next year's theme or something. Stacy, you could talk to your committee about it. But when he sums it up with one of the nights, and it was probably the night that Post was there, he said it's a good time to be in Spanish Fork, and there's a lot of reasons why. And I think, maybe those guys, you got to think, they come here a few days before, and they leave usually a day later of the rodeo, but they don't just see the fairgrounds. They're all around the community and in a lot of stuff, and they're usually in our parade and everything else. And so I think J.J. Harrison made a pretty good statement that there's a lot of good, it's a good time to be in Spanish Fork, and there's a lot of reasons why. And we sure saw that during Fiesta Days for all the events. And so very cool. Thanks for all the volunteers, and thanks for everybody putting on a great show. I don't know how we top it year over year, but we seem to do it. So, Dale, good luck. Keep it up. Number two, I've got a Utah Valley magazine here that Councilwoman Beck provided me with. This edition just coming out. I wanted to highlight really quick, one of our own in Spanish Fork is in the section, what's this section called, Councilwoman Beck? Fearless Females. Very cool, Fearless Females in here. I know our own director, CEO of the Chamber's been in this type of magazine before, celebrating females that are leading. And this one is Michelle Carroll. She sits on our planning commission in Spanish Fork, but she's also the CEO of Mountain Land Association of Governments, and MAG for short. They do everything from Meals on Wheels that you see around town and other communities in Utah County, but they also help us with planning regionally. Our roads, our power, our trails, everything doesn't stop at borders within cities. It connects with all of our communities and the county throughout Utah County. And Michelle is very well warranted. If you get this magazine, if you don't have it, go get it. But if you get it at your home, open it up and read about Michelle. We're super proud that she's a Spanish Fork resident and sits on our planning commission. So a very cool thing there. My last thing is a few pictures that I sent Jack. I will tell you, yes, there are other kids at the Utah County Fair that showed livestock over the weekend. But these are my niece and nephews. So this is the pictures you get from me. This is JT. The previous one was Lydia. So Lydia, JT, and then Charlie. I mean, that's the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life. After she got her medal, and then Porter also showed his hog too. So these kids, along with hundreds of others, were spent the weekend at the county fair showing their projects, and my report from the county and from the 4-H club, which I've given this is a sticker, by the way, guys, so if you can stick it on your lapel while you're here at council meeting. Councilman Gordon gave me...
I have a lapel, Kevin.
Put it on there.
In case.
Do you? I had to check.
One of two options. You can either stick it on your chest and show that you're proud of the 4-H heritage and history, or you can get a tattoo of it somewhere. So those are your choices. Y'all should probably just put it on you rather than
He doesn't have one either.
Get the tattoo maybe. But
The T-shirt today.
Junior Livestock Show was up this year. More participants, more projects, just like our state livestock show that was earlier this year. Anybody says in this area that ag is declining or there's not a strong future in it for whatever reasons, whether it's development, whether it's growth, whether it's traffic, whether it's whatever you want to call it, ag is growing year over year in our community, and the Utah County Fair was proof of that this week. So if you missed it, sorry, comes back next year. But it was an awesome event that the county put on. We appreciate them as partners in the fairgrounds facility. The county's money comes down there as well and helps make this a great event for the whole county to come down. There were monster trucks, there was demolition derby, but there was also people that maybe hadn't pet a horse or a pig or a sheep in forever or in a long time, and got to do that as well. So we appreciate all those families putting in hard work to have their livestock there, and the livestock organization, the 4-H clubs that put this on and get the judges in and everything else. It's quite the event. If you go sit in one of our arenas and see how it functions, it's really cool, and the future's bright with ag in our area. Okay, that's all I have. Everybody's got their 4-H pin on now, so I did my job. Anything else, council, that you need for council comments before we go on? Going once, twice? Okay. Staff reports. Manager Perrins, do we have anything following up from previous items that we wanted to cover?
Just a couple of items. First of all, great to visit with Justin. You know, it's great to have residents as they move in care about their community, and that's a good new resident. Really excited and grateful for him, and hope we're able to figure that out with him. Matt, you want to touch on the public safety night out, and then Corey's got a couple of things to touch on.
Yep. Next Monday at the North Park, we're holding our annual public safety night event where we'll have police cars on display. Our K9 teams will be there. Fire and EMS will have some of their engines and EMS vehicles there as well. The best thing about it is if you need dinner for that night, we're cooking hot dogs. So come on down to the North Park Pavilion at 6 o'clock, and we'll look forward to seeing y'all there.
That's a good time. We're going to have dogs biting people.
You're getting in the suit.
Whatever. If you don't have the dog suit there, it's not worth the show. Like, you got to get somebody in a dog suit.
We'll have somebody in a dog suit. I thought you meant unintentional.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a purposeful, protected dog.
That's a terrible idea. We don't want
Canine demonstration. All right. Corey?
I have just a few slides, so I figured I'd come up here and use this pointer. Thanks, Jack. So one of the things that we wanted to get out here, and perhaps we're a little late getting this in front of the public, the Utah State Water Rights Division of Water Rights has started a water rights adjudication. We've all heard a lot from many residents, and a lot of people confused that have received letters just like this one in the mail. At my house, I received 2. And it's very official, and it is a big deal, but it causes a lot of confusion. So I wanted to spend just a minute, and there's a video here. Jack, if you can help click on that for me, that kind of explains, it's about 4 minutes, but it's a...
And we got to go help people customize and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Maybe where's the golf cart?
Hello. If you're watching this video, you have probably received a notice or summons from the Utah Division of Water Rights concerning potential water rights and something called an adjudication. We realize that this can be confusing and a little concerning, so we'd like to take a minute to explain the notice and provide some additional information to ease your mind. First off, there's a good chance that this summons doesn't apply to you and won't require any action on your part. Because the concept of water rights evolved and developed along with the history of Utah, the records of the state are often incomplete or inaccurate. Consequently, the Utah Division of Water Rights sends notices to property owners who live in the general area to ensure that individuals who own and use those rights have the opportunity to participate. Ultimately, many more notices are sent out than there are water rights. So in all likelihood, even though you received a notice, you probably probably don't have a water right to claim. People who have valid water rights are usually very aware of them because they will have been maintaining a physical structure, such as a well, a head gate, a spring box, or a ditch. If you do not have a valid water right or do not want to participate further, you may simply disregard the notice you received. There's nothing more you need to do. If you have a water right, you should be participating. If you have a water right and don't participate, you could lose your right to the use of that water. If you're uncertain if you have a water right or unsure if you should file a claim, you can contact the Utah Division of Water Rights. Our staff are trained to assist the public in navigating this process and will even help prepare and file your claim if appropriate. If you do have a valid water right, the summons you received is part of a legal process called a Water Rights General Adjudication. The Utah Division of Water Rights mails these summons and notices to ensure that all people who might have a claim to a water right are aware of and understand the Water Rights General Adjudication process. The summons also brings claimants and the Utah Division of Water Rights under the jurisdiction of the court to ensure equitable treatment and due process to all involved. As previously alluded to, a water rights adjudication is a legal process that is intended to identify historic and existing water rights in a specific area and document their use. This process is intended for individuals who are claiming a water right. Although everyone uses water, whether it's from their faucet, hose, or sprinklers, most people receive that water from the local municipality. In contrast, water that is associated with an individual water right is different than your normal connection to the local municipal water supplier. It typically involves using water from a well, a stream, or a spring for some kind of beneficial purpose. Again, most people who have water rights are very aware of these structures because they typically require regular maintenance and repair. In the notice you received, you were invited to a public meeting. The public meeting is an opportunity to learn more about the process and have your questions answered by our staff. After the public meeting, the Utah Division of Water Rights will send a notice letting you know the claim filing period has begun. This notice will include a water user's claim form. If you wish to file a claim on a water right, you will have 90 days from the date of that notice to file your water user's claim. Again, staff from the Utah Division of Water Rights are happy to assist you in preparing and filing your claim. For more information, we encourage you to attend the public meeting referred to in the initial notice and summons. And as always, feel free to contact our office at 801-538-5282 with any questions or concerns you may have. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video.
So I mentioned perhaps we were late getting this out. As you may be aware, the public meeting was this morning through this afternoon. I think it was well attended, and hopefully most residents with questions had an opportunity. But again, there's other opportunities. A few questions we're getting, and I think they were all answered, and the answer is about the same. If you have questions about, do I have a water right? The answer is, the way to answer that is, do you have a structure providing water? If you have a head gate, a spring, a well, there's a chance, or you should have a water right, and you need to file a claim. Most residents within the city receive their water from the city, and they don't own an actual water right for that, and they don't need to file a claim. The city will do that with the water rights the city owns. So I don't think we'll read all of these, but if you're receiving it from a meter from the city, you can disregard the notice. So there is also a link here that we can share out there at the bottom of this page that is a recorded meeting that residents, if they couldn't make the open house and that, can go watch and see the interaction and the questions there. So that's on there, hopefully just ease people's minds on this process that is a legal process and feels scary if you don't understand. Secondly, Seth just asked me to talk about the water reclamation facility. As you guys know, I can be a little passionate about that. I've worked on it for many years, and it's an exciting time down there. They've been doing clean water testing over the last few weeks and really dialing things in over the last month or two. The exciting news is part of the requirements were to run the plant in auto with clean water and just make sure it works the way we want. Now, they're programming and adjusting all through that period, but we just finished that on Monday, and it went well. While there was issues that they found and were able to work bugs out of the programming, it went well. Just a few pictures, because I get excited. You can see there is a lot of controls and a lot of programming in here, and when you walk in, you see equipment that many of you have seen, but for that building, that's what the screen looks like, and the colors and the numbers give you an idea how many sensors, how many inputs that are going into running this plant. So it was a big push for our contractors and technical team to program and get things working together so that it can run in auto. And this is the headworks and the function in there. You see these treatment tanks that just look like big tanks of water, and they are. But inside the SCADA, you see mixers, blowers, and a lot of data coming in to control the plant. Same thing with these MBR tanks. A lot of data, a lot of analytics that are programmed in to have things run. So it's an exciting time. We, at this point, if you drive up there, you'll see that 200 East in front of the treatment plant. Jack's helped me with these slides, and I appreciate that, Jack. From the smile on my face, you can see how excited I get about wastewater biology here.
I like how he put an angle on it, too. It's just got the right angle.
Yep.
Jack, nice.
You know, I think Jack sees his picture on our website saying, do you have any questions all the time? And they need the same treatment. Other people need the same treatment, so I'm your guy if you have questions. 200 East is closed this week to bypass pump and get ready to tie the live sewer flows into the treatment plant. Next week, they'll start seeding the plant, meaning they'll bring in biology. I think we're getting biology from Santaquin's treatment plant, and we will start growing the biology until it can treat to the level that we can turn all the flows to the new treatment plant. So that might take a month or two. Biology doesn't work as fast as we'd like it to all the time, but we're there. It's in the next couple of weeks when things are turned over, it's operating, and I'm sure it'll keep our staff busy and our contractors and consultants busy. But it's an exciting day to see the investment and the hard work from a lot of people coming together.
So when does the mayor get to wake up at 2 in the morning and turn the lever 2 turns so it starts to flow?
You know, unfortunately, there's no lever to turn, Mayor. But I'll bet you we could arrange for you to go down and turn the pump off that's going to then allow it to go to the new plant.
I think you should do that. That seems like memorable stuff.
Yeah.
Mayor Leifson got to blow up things at the wings and wheels, and I get to turn a pipe valve.
Yep.
Of sewage.
Way more important.
You can help operate the plant for a day if you want.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
you know,
So,
open valves, turn pumps
Corey,
on. Yeah.
this says we are going to be flowing effluent into the plant in the next 7 days. Is that right?
Yes. The
huge
approach
deal.
we're taking is we'll bring in the seed,
Yep.
you know, biology from another treatment plant, and to keep that biology happy, we have to feed it. We will be pumping wastewater in a controlled way to grow that biology until it reaches a level that it's treating to a level we want. Once it reaches there, we'll turn full flow in, and that day there's no turning back. Next week, as we introduce sewage in, it's done by pump, and we'll have some control and some comfort level there. But probably in about a month.
I'm not going to do that.
August 2025. This is a big deal.
Yeah, big deal. One of the things that I've been excited about is several years ago now, we awarded a GMP, and it had a fair amount of contingency. We are still below that contingency level. We haven't had change orders that have made this plant cost more than we anticipated. It cost more than conceptually we thought 5 years ago. But the contractor's done a good job keeping it within there and building a state-of-the-art thing that will last many years and be a great asset to treat our wastewater. So it's been a good project from a good team. So.
Corey, just real quick, anybody that has questions as to why this is needed, why we needed a new plant, I would invite them to go down or give a call and talk to Zach Staley, who's the current plant manager. When they did the tour, I had a chance to go and meet with Zach and kind of walk through it, and he mentioned to me how they're putting on a lot of Band-Aids right now with the old plant, just hoping to get to the finish line without having to spend a lot of additional unneeded expenses to keep it running until we can get the new one up and running. And so it's needed. It's exciting. It's going to be great for our community.
It is, and we've been operating that way for a little while, and the last 6 months it is escalating more and more at the old treatment plant to where we're finding we wake up to a new challenge.
When did we start design on this?
We started contemplating the conceptual side around late 2019, early 2020. We did a condition assessment in 2018.
Yeah.
Kind of realized what we kind of knew was coming, but the scale of it. So,
How old was the old one?
The bulk of the old one was 1983, 84, which is a long time for a treatment plant. Some of the tanks and infrastructure were 1956. So it's the investment in the older treatment plant has paid, it's lasted a long time. As Councilman Euler mentioned, it's time from an infrastructure, but also with regulations from the state and requirements on nutrient. This plant will handle that where the old one
Just couldn't do it.
can't.
Yeah, and I think you couple those two things together. You say the 1950s, and that we are operating with infrastructure from the 50s in the current plant that we have. You say 1950s, and you think about the population that it served. In terms of the quantity of population back then, Dale, what was that back then?
Sure.
Sorry. That was so mean. I'm so sorry.
As an older person in this room, I felt I'm offended.
So what was it in the 80s, right? Some of that infrastructure still exists. Wow, that's incredible, right? And you think of the population growth, the number of people that have been served by that, it's definitely been worth what those investments were. And then this one, it's a huge expense. It's the single largest capital project that we've ever had. It's not something that we built or contemplated in short order. 2018, 2019 to now, we're 7 years in the process of studying and carrying it out. So it's certainly been a big effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah. Anytime anyone wants to come down and see it work in real life and not just clean water,
The
come on
smile
down.
on your face is just precious.
My picture's up there. It speaks how I feel about it.
I know.
It's,
For all to see.
I know that's what I was thinking about when they took that picture.
But it's opening?
Yeah. Thanks.
So I think
thank you, Corey.
I think it's important to note that just the amount of coordination that has gone on across the finance department, the public works department, the council, the legal department, it's amazing. And hats off.
An investment like that, we just set the city up, both our city and Mapleton, right? They own
20%.
20%?
Yep.
For almost full build out,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So you make an investment in 2019, 2018 that lasts 50 years. It's going to pay for itself. It's a commitment to our community. I think that I don't know that maybe you two were on the city council when it started
In the 50s?
in the 50s. No, but in 2019.
Yeah.
I mean that's a decent size political risk to take, but it is exactly what this body is meant to do. Right? Think about what the city needs and how we can invest all of our funds wisely to make this place sustainable, so your kids can live here when it's time for them to live here. You know, when you said 1983 or whatever it was, I mean, you could have at that time said, nope, we're going to stop growing right then. Just put a pin in it. Who wouldn't be here if we would have done that, right?
Yes, who wouldn't be here?
There's several that wouldn't be here if we decided to just stop growing at some point so that we could preserve that infrastructure that we built. But we didn't. So my kids get to live here. Kevin's kids will get to live here. We, like city council, took the initiative to do that. Staff helped definitely set a clear vision of what it could be, and we made the investment. It's going to pay off in a great way, and we are better as a community, better for the environment, and now we have a sustainable sewer treatment plant that is going to be an asset for this community for a very long time. So congratulations, Corey. It's a long time in coming, but I think as a fellow nerd engineer, like these are moments, right? These are moments where like that smile is genuine. It truly is.
I was talking with one of our consultants, and he designs and builds wastewater treatment plants, and I was excited and said, this is like a career thing for me. And he said, you know, I do this for a living, and a full-scale plant like this is a career project for me. We're often updating or doing parts of treatment plants, but to be able to build something from the ground up it's a big deal for those that do it for a living, day in, day out through a career. So this is a fun thing for me.
And something that's really odd is when I flush my toilet next week, it will flush exactly the same, and I will have no idea that it's going through a different process. And to me, it probably would seem like, well, it wasn't worth it. But if we'd have put a pin in it, for example, like Councilman Marshall was just saying, if we'd stopped growth in 1983, we'd still be facing these same challenges. It might be a little bit smaller scale because the population might be different, which that's not a realistic thing anyway, right? But the infrastructure eventually reaches the end of its life. But more importantly, it's the regulations, right? Whatever the regulations we were treating to in the 80s, we're probably 10 to 100 times more stringent in the regulations, right? We've gone from 3, on a number, you go from 3 to 1 to 0.1. What is that in scale, right? And that's where we're going. That's where we have to go. So I don't notice it on the flush end, but collectively we're going to see it on how that water ends up in the places where it goes, Utah Lake. And
if you were on the exit side of that,
and
you would notice a difference.
Yeah, and if we didn't do it, I think we face perilous consequences.
Absolutely. Not just from a regulation standpoint, but from an actual impact to the environment. Right? They're there for a reason. Those regulations.
That's a good point. I hope we've conveyed it somewhat clearly enough to the public over the years, but Councilwoman Beck can remember going down there and not sure the components or anything I was looking at, but I do remember Corey and some others pointing out where J.B. Weld was holding some things together, and the degree of that something failing in those areas could be
crappy.
Don't start. Don't continue.
No, you were going to go there, but yes, that's a good word. It would have been bad. So it was a priority. It was a priority taken back then and continued on, and you got the right people in the city doing the right things from the staff perspective to be able to follow through with execution of it and a good team on it. So great work. We're excited for it, and be a little bit different of a ribbon cutting, I guess.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, still cool.
Big deal.
Okay, anything else, manager?
Nope, not at the moment.
Okay, staff report's done. Takes us to item 8 on our agenda, Spanish Fork 101, primary election. We have primary election and then UMPA Renew Choice Program.
There's an election going on?
Jake's here. There's an election. Primary. This is Tara Silver.
Thanks for having me. As a city recorder and the election officer, my job is to make sure that you can vote if you want to. At least give you the information and the details and the things that you need to be able to vote smartly and to get the knowledge you want about candidates, where to go, how to fill out your ballot, and all those different things. So I'm just here today to give an update of information. We have the primary election on the 12th right there. And I kind of wanted to compare it to Netflix, just so everybody understands. The primary election is not one that a lot of people turn out for. So I just want to say it's like picking something on Netflix. There are way too many options. You're not sure what half of them are. And if you just let it autoplay, you're probably not going to like where it ends up. So for the primary election, get out and find out who's running and find out about them and get out there and vote. The next thing is who is running. These are who is running for mayor. We have that position open, and then we have 2 council seats open. So you can see there the people, the brave people who have come forward. It is not an easy task to run an election. The calls, the emails, even just putting out your finances and the different things that go into running an election. These people are brave souls, and they do deserve our respect. So find out more about them. There are 2 ways you can find out about them. One, you can go to our website at SpanishFork.gov elections, and we have the candidates there. And if you can click on their websites, their personal websites, and you can find out kind of what they stand for, what's important to them, and you can see if it aligns with what's important to you. Also, we have their phone numbers there, their email addresses. They have provided those willingly. So give them a call, talk to them, and let them know what your concerns are. The second way you can learn about them is you can go to voteutah.gov. They have submitted profiles there that kind of this is on the state level, that they just kind of let you know things about them, their bio, maybe some personal things, but kind of where they're coming from and what's driven them to this place to run. So I just want to point out, at this state, you do have to, once you go there, you have to click on candidates, know more about candidates, learn more about candidates, and then you have to put in your address. They want to make sure they get you the right candidates. So you put in your address, and then it will give you that list, and you just click on the read profile, and then you can read those. All right, the next thing, most of you have probably already seen your ballot. I hope so. If you haven't, you can call the county and they can get you out a ballot. But this is a sample ballot. This is just telling you how to vote. So you're only going to vote for 1 for mayor and 2 for city council members. This is important just because if you do more, it discounts it. They don't know what choice you really had, so it's just important to know how many to vote for. And then it's important to know, too, that the primary is to get it down to 2 people per position. So in the mayoral race, there will be 2 people who will move on to the general election, and in the council race, there will be 4 people who move on to the general election. Early voting started yesterday. If you'd like to go down to the county, that's the only place you can early vote at this point. But from 8 to 5, you can go there and you can vote in person if you'd like to. There are 3 ways to vote. You can put it in the mail, put it in by August 6th. Make sure it's in the mail by August 6th so that it gets to the county on time. And then also you can put it in a drop box up to Election Day, August 12th at 8 p.m. And then you can come in person to Spanish Fork here in the Heritage Room just across from the council chambers, and you can vote in person on Election Day from 7 to 8 p.m. as well. You have to be here by 8 p.m. Sadly, last year we had someone come in at 8:01. They have to close the doors at 8, and it was really sad to have to turn them away. So make sure you're there by 8. Or vote early. This is just for people who are new to our city or who don't quite know where a ballot box is. It's right here at our library hall. You're just going to go off 100 South. There are a bunch of boxes there, so I have just pointed them out. Mail it by August 6th in the mailbox. The very last box that you're going to see is the ballot box. So put it in there. It's good until Election Day at 8 p.m. I just want to make sure you're not like this kid and you feel like your vote didn't count or you surrendered because your ballot didn't make it to the county by 8 p.m. if you mailed it. So that's why I say after August 6th, just go ahead and put it in a ballot box. Don't mail it. You just want to make sure it gets there.
So
Oh, go ahead.
in the last election, it needed to be postmarked by a certain time. That's
Yes.
gone now. It has to be physically in the at the county.
Yes, yes. And for a while, we've had that postmark law that if it was postmarked by a certain date, it would still be counted. That is no more. The legislature changed that. So you have to have it to the county if you're mailing it by 8 p.m. So don't mail it after August 6th. Just put it in a ballot box right there at Spanish Fork.
Tara, does this mean the results that'll come in that night will be final results because they're not going to be waiting for more ballots to come in?
No, sadly, because they'll pick them up at 8, and we will get a result at 8 o'clock that night. We will also get results at 10 o'clock that night. But then you have overseas ballots that are still coming in, so they won't be finalized. So this county, we have negotiated with them that they will release them every Friday and Tuesday. So you can count on after that initial night, 8 p.m., 10 p.m., and that would be Friday at 5, Tuesday at 5, and Friday again at 5, and then we'll have the final canvass.
Awesome.
One of the things you guys need to be aware of is the canvass will happen on the 26th of August. We will need to have a meeting where you sign off the election. So if you would put that on your calendar, it shouldn't be very long, but if you would add that to your calendars, August 26th.
So that's an off Tuesday, right? But because the primary is on the 12th of August, 2 weeks later, that puts us on that 4th Tuesday of the month. So, and that's your responsibility with the election. So we have to do that one.
It seems like things are moving pretty smooth. We dropped our ballots in the drop box here on Saturday, and I got a text this afternoon saying my vote had been counted. So
Yes. Did you use ballot tracks?
so
Yes.
it's been working pretty quick.
Yeah, for everyone, you can sign up to be on ballot tracks. It will track your ballot, let you know when they received it, when they counted it, or if there's a problem with it. So use that option. It's a great option. I just wanted to bring this up. We have, as of yesterday, 23,757 active voters. We have 3,119 inactive voters. That means they haven't voted within 2 years. For a primary election, we usually get 23% of people coming. So that would be, on that number, it would be 5,464.34 that we would get in the city. So around a fourth of the active voters would come. I'm just hoping that we make people aware where to go find information, and they feel like they can go vote and do. I just want to end with this. Liberty cannot be preserved without general knowledge among the people who have a right and a desire to know. And this is John Adams. So just want to say thank you to the candidates. We love that you want to serve your communities, and also thank you to the residents. And if you have any questions, please contact us.
Thanks, Tara.
Questions for Tara? Just want to say to Tara, thank you for the work that you're doing. You're doing a great job to communicate with the candidates to make sure we're all aware of everything that's going on. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
August 6th, that's tomorrow. So if you're watching this, August 6th is tomorrow. So put it in the mail tomorrow. If you don't put it in the mail, bring bring it by the city office. They'll show you where the ballot drop box is, but it's right out in front of the library. So
Absolutely.
still
And
got
you
time.
can use any Utah County Dropbox, but that's probably the closest. But if you work somewhere else in Utah County, you can put it in that Dropbox. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Appreciate that. Okay, Mr. Jake Tyre for the Utah Municipal Power Agency Renew Choice Program.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm here tonight filling in for UMPA. They really wanted to be here and actually have done the real heavy lifting on these videos. They've done a lot of good work to help us with these programs. These are 2 videos for 2 programs that fall under the Renew Choice program. There's several programs you guys probably aware of, some like the Green Exchange program. We're specifically going to be talking about the net metering program and the shared solar tonight. There's 2 videos that kind of highlight our programs, and just want to highlight Cat Linford and UMPA have done the hard work on this. They've really done a good job. They do a great job for Spanish Fork City and us as a community. So shout out to them. But I'll start with the net metering video. I think this might answer some questions you have, and if not, I'll feel free to answer any afterwards, maybe before we go on to the shared solar video. But I'll just turn it over to Jack to watch the video.
Installing solar panels is a big decision that can affect your finances. Installing solar panels is a way to partner with Spanish Fork City Power and Light to generate sustainable energy. But here at Spanish Fork City Power and Light, we want to make sure it's an appropriate fit for you. If you're thinking about installing solar panels, there are a few common misconceptions that we'd like to address. Misconception number 1. If I have solar panels, I don't have to pay a utility bill. Customers that have solar panels are always connected to Spanish Fork City's electrical grid. The energy generated and consumed by the customer is measured by a net meter. The meter measures the excess energy being placed onto the grid from the solar panels, and it measures the power that the customer consumes from the grid when the solar panels aren't generating power. Because all customers utilize Spanish Fork City Power and Light's infrastructure, everyone must contribute to the maintenance costs of the electrical grid. Misconception number 2. If I have solar panels, I'm my own power provider and I can make money from the excess power I don't use. The excess power that your solar panels generate can indeed accrue a credit that will roll over month to month to offset utility costs. Having a credit balance is beneficial during the winter months when there are fewer sunlight hours for your solar panels to generate power. Because of this, your utility costs can be less expensive. However, any rollover credits not used by February 20th are reset to 0. That means those rollover credits that may have accumulated disappear on February 20th of each year. This is a standard utility practice and is an important topic to be discussed with your solar provider and Spanish Fork City Power and Light so that you don't generate more power than consumed between February 21st and February 20th of each year. Because of this, customers should understand that installing solar panels does not make you money. Rather, it has the potential to save on utility costs throughout the year. Misconception number 3. The utility will help maintain and service my solar panels. There is a potential for maintenance and routine care for the solar panels that is not considered in the initial investment. The maintenance cost and care is between the customer and the solar provider, not Spanish Fork City Power and Light. It's important for customers to do their research on reputable solar providers to ensure confidence in getting the most out of the system before making any commitments. Misconception number 4. I won't experience power outages with my solar panels. Something that can be a surprise to those who've installed solar panels is experiencing power outages when your city has an issue on the electrical grid. This is because you are always connected to the city's grid, either by adding or consuming power. So, unless you've installed batteries as part of your home's net metering system, you will experience power outages if there is an issue on the grid. Misconception number 5.
my utility rates will rise an average 7+% annually. This is incorrect, as Spanish Fork City's electrical rates have gone up an average of 1% annually for the past 5 years. Because Spanish Fork City Power and Light is a Spanish Fork City entity, the electric rates are set by your city council. Rate decisions are a public process that you can be a part of by working with your council representative. Spanish Fork City Power and Light takes pride in being a public power provider and only wants what is best for the city and its customers. As your utility provider, Spanish Fork City Power and Light wants to encourage renewable energy, and net metering is a way that adds to the renewable sources that are used in our community. Before making a commitment, contact Spanish Fork Power and Light to make sure that net metering is a good fit for you and to see if there are other renewable options that better align with your goals. To find out what renewable programs are offered, contact Spanish Fork City Power and Light or go to renewchoice.com.
It's just, we're going to have this on our website, hopefully to try to educate people. You know, sometimes you get some phone calls and a few things, and you're like, oh, let's talk about this for a minute, you know, to really learn what you're getting into with the solar panels and that. So there is, like I said, a lot of misconceptions out there, and Spanish Fork City is in favor of solar if that's what you want to do, but we just want to make sure it's the right choice and fit for your situation. So
Jake, that video was awesome.
yeah, it's good.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know if you'd put it in, the Netflix top 10, since we've got Netflix on our mind from Tara's presentation. But that video was so spot on. Anybody that's looking at getting into the solar panels on their house, they need to watch this. Watch it 3 times, because there's really good information in there. And when that person shows up on their doorstep and tells them whatever they tell them, which isn't in alignment with this, just because the salesman tells you that does not mean it's true. They're trying to sell you something. This video, that was really, really, really informational.
Yeah, it's really good, and we're actually going to try to get it into, if somebody applies for solar panels, it's a requirement that they watch the video.
Yeah.
A lot of other cities actually hold classes, required classes, but we're just looking to get more information out there so people are educated. So, any specific questions about net metering in our program? Okay, I think, Jack, we're ready for the shared solar video.
Are you someone who wants solar or to produce renewable energy but have been limited because of the large upfront costs of installing and maintaining solar panels? Shared solar might be for you. What is shared solar? Shared solar is an inexpensive program offered by Spanish Fork City Power and Light, where customers can get the benefits of generating solar power onto the grid without having a long-term financial contract or added equipment such as rooftop solar. In addition, renewable power generation from Spanish Fork City Power and Light's utility-grade solar plant is more cost-effective and produces energy more efficiently than traditional rooftop solar panels. How does shared solar work? Spanish Fork City Power and Light owns a solar plant here in town where the power generated goes directly into our community. Electric customers can lease blocks of that solar power to offset their household energy consumption and be part of the renewable and sustainability efforts in Spanish Fork City. By participating in the shared solar program, customers generate renewable energy for Spanish Fork City, which adds to Spanish Fork City Power and Light's diverse renewable energy portfolio. A benefit for all. Shared solar is a good option for those who are limited by financial means, HOA ordinances, or those who rent, but value sustainable energy. In addition, shared solar is a great option for customers whose homes are not suitable for solar panels, but would like to participate in supporting renewable energy sources. To find out more about shared solar, go to renewchoice.com or contact Spanish Fork City Power and Light. pretty straightforward. Kind of covers a couple of the programs. They did a great job on the videos. We will have this up on our website here pretty soon. They were going to get some high definition videos to us, so look for those to be put on the website. Do you guys have any questions about the shared solar?
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate that. Okay, takes us to item 9 on our agenda, the consent items. We have A, B, and C. If there's any questions about the consent items, let's go over them. If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent items A, B, and C.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Cardon, second by Councilwoman Beck. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Consent items are approved. Takes us to our public hearing item tonight. We have ordinance Title 15 reimbursable projects that Mr. Corey Pierce is going to talk to us about before we go into public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. This update to Title 15 doesn't really change our practice and our code as it sits today. What we found in working with developers, this section of code deals with how do we upsize utilities for regional needs and how do we pay for those. So, for example, if a developer or a property owner builds a subdivision and builds a water line through there, the base size that they need to service a development is an 8-inch. However, regionally, we might need to put in a 12-inch so we can distribute that water throughout the city. And this code is addressing how that is reimbursed, whether it's an upsize or whether it's 100% reimbursed. One of the things in the code as it sits today, the only utility mentioned in the code itself and how that's reimbursed as far as a percentage was the power lines. All the other utilities, the water lines, the sewer lines, the storm drain lines, were in a separate document, spreadsheet that we call our developer toolbox that would give developers the information on what that would look like as they are proposing a project. And our staff has found that pointing people to that, they often say, okay, this is here, show me in the code where it says that. And the code is kind of generic, we'll pay an upsize and our spreadsheets there. So what we did here is to make it more clear, more transparent to those researching development in the city, is put those upsize percentages in the code itself so it is very clear as people research. They don't have to dig quite as far or come in and talk to staff. They can look at this code that is transparent and clear in here. Our intent would be, as costs change, if these percentages need to change, we'll do a study and update the code at that time. So again, in practice and even the amounts we reimburse, it doesn't change anything. It just brings that into the code to make it more transparent. So if you have any questions I'd be glad to answer.
Before public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. I'd entertain a motion to go into public hearing for item A.
Move that we go into public hearing for item A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Euler, second by Councilman Marshall. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're in public hearing for item 10A. Anybody from the public that would like to speak to reimbursable projects? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Cardon.
Second.
Second by Councilman Took. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Discussion back up here. Any concerns or questions about this for staff, council? Pretty straightforward. If there's no questions, I'd entertain a motion approving item A.
I move to approve the resolution for Title 15 reimbursable projects.
Motion made by Councilman Took, second by Councilman Marshall. A roll call vote here. Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Councilman Euler.
Yes.
Councilman Cardon.
Yes.
And Councilman Took.
Yes.
Item 10A is approved. Thanks, Corey. It takes us to new business, resolution authorizing the FitCity Center manager to sign certain agreements. Mr. Dale Robbins.
Thank you. We're excited about these next few items here. Our FitCity Center is well underway. If you haven't visited our office for a while, you should come over and take a look just for fun. I keep telling everybody it looks like a call center downstairs. Like we have people everywhere.
every nook and cranny. As Nick's assembled his executive team, and they're in the process of hiring a lot of people. So we're excited for this stage to get things moving. We still have another month and a half or so of construction, and we're hoping to start working on some opening events coming up later this fall. This resolution that's before you is to authorize the FitCity Center manager to sign a number of different operational type agreements. As you can imagine, there's going to be rental agreements, there's going to be food service agreements, there's going to be insurance membership agreements, corporate membership. There's a plethora of agreements that he's going to have to be able to sign in order to conduct business at the rec center. And so in order to avoid having to bring those here every time for your authorization, we're looking for you to authorize the mayor to sign this and allow Mr. Nick Porter to be able to sign those agreements as he conducts business at the rec center. Any questions on the agreement? It's included there.
I had a question. Typically, when we've done these type of agreements for different departments, has there been a dollar amount associated with that? Because I didn't see anything there, but I didn't know if that was something that was typically done.
No, you can answer that if you want, Vaughn. I've seen a few of these.
Dollar amount for real property acquisitions of $100,000. That's the only one I can think of that has a dollar.
Gotcha.
If you have any thoughts or if you want to put some limits, you certainly can in the resolution that you give the authority for it.
Yeah, I don't know that I necessarily have any dollar amount in my head. I just know that there's, like, obviously Nick's got a lot of things that he's going to have to do in the next little bit, and I think, no pun intended, right? Like, not handcuffing him and making it so it's hard, but also, like, I don't know, I think about, like, fitness equipment is probably going to be fairly costly. I don't know what that price range looks like, and so does it make sense for us to have our eyes on that? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of where my mind is.
I agree with you. I think there's other things that have limits. Maybe in Corey's department, aren't there several different
Change orders and stuff.
And we
Is
do
it just
have
orders?
we do have them in the purchasing policy isn't just for the public works, so
Right.
we have to follow that same purchasing policy that you've reviewed and approved.
So that's what we're thinking about as a purchasing policy.
It would still apply to
It would
that.
still apply to
Still
what we're
applicable.
doing.
This doesn't supersede it.
Yeah, this would just mean that when we get to a contract, instead of bringing it here, having it be in a consent item that perhaps happens every 2 weeks or so, or having it be a part of the conversation, we would be able to move that faster. So if you want to give or consider a limit and start with, say, $10,000 or $20,000 or a per unit limit, like, I don't think we'd have any issue.
But I think that answers my question. If we have a purchasing policy that's in association with this, that answers the question I have.
For sure. Yeah, that applies not just to anything public works, but across
That was
the
my
city.
question.
Okay,
And the intent of this is not to change that.
not at
You
all.
still have to follow that with the
Yep.
exact same rules.
It just gives a little bit of timeliness. Yeah.
Okay.
Bless you.
Yeah, trust me, you don't want to see every rental agreement.
Yeah.
And there's just going to be a lot. None of it's going to be a significant dollar amount, but yeah, if that's more comfortable.
We'll just put
for you,
Dell
you're
as a
welcome.
co-signer on all of those agreements, so he has to see all of those agreements.
Okay, happy to do that. Yeah, this certainly is in addition to the purchasing policy, which we have to adhere to anyway, so.
I'm pretty excited that we're getting to that point where you're having to have this discussion. It means you've got people reserving. It means you've got companies reaching out and saying, what do we get for signing everybody up that works for our great company, and everything in between. So this is it's a big deal to be to this point with the FitCity Center. So super exciting.
And maybe adding, if you look at the other items on the agenda, B and C, I don't think either of those are purchases. And so this is the intent is to be more than just purchasing. And so as we do these other items, right? Is that fair to say? I mean, this isn't just purchasing. This is also other agreements.
Item B is a little bit different just because it's an authorization for a grant.
Right.
So don't get nervous about the dollar amount. This is a grant that we have carried over for 4 years. It's a Utah County grant that's paid through the Tourism, Recreation, Cultural, and Convention Facilities tax. Our community gets that every year, which is somewhere around $20,000 to $25,000 a year. They allow us to accumulate that up to 4 years, so that we can save it for something bigger if we need to do so, and that's what we did here. Is we accumulated 4 years worth of that money, which is just under $80,000 that we can use for our aquatics facility at the rec center. So it's a good chunk of money that can help us with some much needed lifeguard safety and rescue equipment, ADA chairlifts. There's a plethora of things that it qualifies for as long as it's utilized for the rec center as it was indicated, or the aquatic center. So they require, as part of that grant, just to have the mayor sign this, and that is a 100% reimbursable grant, so we'll just turn in receipts and receive all that money back. So that's what item B is. Item C, yes, and I'll have, since Nick worked tirelessly to get here, appreciate him doing that. I'll let him present that to you. You're going to see a lot of these, hopefully you won't see a lot of these agreements, but this is a good example, item C, of what some of the things that he and his staff have been working on to make it better for our citizens to be able to afford these services and utilize this facility. So I'm getting ahead of myself, so we'll go back to.
Well, yeah, you are, but the B that you touched on there, important, Dale, that we're in negotiations with the county as well for a larger partnership, if you will, that I think we'll have to be able to share with the public, probably in a few council meetings or something, but
yes,
something that's pretty significant too. Not that almost $80,000 isn't significant, but something.
Yeah, well, we're working on a contract right now with the county, and we'll share that with you when we have that ready.
Perfect.
Okay, so item A, any further questions for Dale on that? Are we comfortable with the manager signing these things?
I think overall, yeah. It's the operational agreements, totally, that makes a ton of sense. I'm surprised when we have more of these. It seems like other divisions are signing these same things, right? But when you read the first whereas, it sounds like it sounds like it's applying to contracts, which would be through the purchasing agreement. But I guess you're just saying the first whereas is there's a bunch of things going on, and these agreements, which are insurance memberships, corporate memberships, rental agreements, those are the ones we're authorizing him to sign. In the second whereas.
Specifically mentioned in section 1, authority granted for those types.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll have the same type of thing. You'll have MAG grants, or we'll receive MAG money for the senior center.
Yeah, this is not.
And it requires us to do certain things with that money. We can't just go use it for whatever. It provides a service for our seniors. Those types of agreements. So there's all kinds of them there, but they're.
Yeah. So if when Nick needs to go buy the equipment, that doesn't apply because it's not specifically called out.
No.
Under
it goes
authority
back
granted.
to the purchasing agreement.
Purchasing policy. Well, you could still, I mean, the custodial service goes through the purchasing agreement.
On that in that sense, yes, we would do the bidding, follow that typical process, but then he would have the authority once we follow the requisite steps to enter into that agreement. Yeah.
We would not see that.
Correct. That's the intent.
Okay. The intent is to limit the authority to what's in one.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
And thank you for calling out. I think that's an important add to the question that Councilman Carr.
Okay, if there's some clarity there, I'd entertain a motion on item A.
I move to approve the resolution authorizing the FitCity Center manager to sign agreements.
Second. Motion made by Councilman Marshall, second by Councilman Cardin. A roll call vote here. Councilman Took.
Yes.
Councilman Cardin.
Yes.
Councilman Euler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
And Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
A is approved. Any more that you need to touch on with item B?
No, unless you have further questions.
Right. I'd entertain a motion on item B.
I move to approve FitCity Center Utah County Recreation Grant.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Euler, second by Councilwoman Beck. Roll call vote here. Councilman Euler.
Yes.
Councilman Cardon.
Yes.
Councilman Took.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
And Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Item B is approved. C, FitCity Center Optum Insurance Membership Agreement. This should be pretty exciting for
I know, right? Enjoy it.
seniors.
Yeah, I can first assure you anything perilous with agreements, I'll bring them here. I want you to see those, but all the routine business ones we'll just take care of. So, no worries. And then Dale mentioned
He
what?
wants cover.
Yeah, when you want some cover, you'll come here.
Absolutely.
I got you.
Yeah. When it's not a routine, prudent thing to do, we will do that.
That's fair.
And then Dale mentioned the grant. There's a couple different grants that we're working on, ferociously trying to get money for the operations that we have. So the grant that you just approved in item B was one that we received and banked the last couple of years. There's one that we're continuing to work on, and then one that we also just received through MAG via a CDBG grant that will help some of our purchasing for the seniors. So a lot of good things. This agreement, the Optum insurance membership agreement, is one of, you've probably heard of Silver Sneakers. There's actually 3 or 4 insurance companies that offer programs similar to that, where insurance member through the insurance, in this case through Optum, receives authorization to get a membership at the FitCity Center. They come in and sign up for that membership with their pre-authorization from Optum. We give them a membership, and then every month we will bill Optum for the number of visits that member comes into the facility. In this agreement, it's $3 per visit with a maximum of $15 per month. The agreement says when and how we invoice them, when and how they'll pay us, and how we recoup that cost from using that insurance agreement. So that's the gist of this. We feel that this and the other insurance memberships we're working on are important, especially for our seniors, to get them into the facility. And if someone is there every day, there is a discount there from our normal, from the approved monthly rate. But for those that use it once or twice, we'll be able to bill those per visit until we hit that maximum.
It's $3, maximum $15
per month.
5 visits
per individual. Yes. So they can visit more than 5, but we'll max out our billing to Optum at $15 a month.
The person themselves pays the rest.
No. The individual with the membership has no cost other than whatever their insurance costs are. We will just bill up to the $15 for Optum.
So
which is up to $180 a year, so it's more than a personal membership of what we've talked about.
So the annual rate is more than what an annual, if a senior got an annual pass, which is $165 for the annual pass, then at the end, if they use it 5 times a month, then we'll have more than that cost would be.
The math got there. What time is it?
It's 8:02.
It's not in feet and inches. We get
Not where I from.
You somehow stretched this to 8:02.
But maybe specify this is the we got a senior center attached to the FitCity part, or the recreation center portion of this. So for a senior that wants to come eat lunch and do that, that's their
right. Yeah, they'll still have that membership fee that covers the meals and some of those programs. Then this is, hopefully most seniors have insurance that will cover their membership, and really for them there's no out-of-pocket charge, and for us, it's a little bit of administrative work to bill the insurance company, but in the end the ability to more than cover the cost of an annual membership.
You also, I'm not trying to blur lines, but you don't have to join our senior center either to be a senior and come in the rec center part of it either.
Very true.
It's gonna cover that as well.
Any other questions on that? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good stuff, Nick. Thank you for thanks for doing the legwork on this. This is a long time coming too, to get to a point where seniors in Spanish Fork, if they're on that type of insurance, which is a lot of the Medicare insurance provider here in Utah that they can come get fit and stay healthy in the FitCity Center at no out-of-pocket cost to them besides their insurance cost. Very good stuff. Any other thing you want to add to that, Manager Perrins?
Nick, real quick with that, maybe walk me through Optum. If you've got an insurance company that does not work with Optum, which I assume there are some, right? What are the options there?
I don't have a great answer for that right now. We are working on actively 2 other agreements that will cover more of those insurance holders. But if there's an insurance out there that we don't have a relationship or an agreement with, we'll work to make that happen to help our residents out. So, but I know there's at least 3. We've got an active renew on Silver Sneakers, are the kind of the 3 big players in the space. But there may be more, and we'll happily look into that and get an agreement in place if we can.
Okay, great, thank you.
You bet.
Can I make a motion real quick?
Yes.
Given that we passed 11A, giving Nick the authority to approve agreements, I move that we let him take care of this.
You don't want me to sign something?
After you sign it.
Okay.
After you sign A, he can sign this one.
Oh, there you go. As long as I sign the first one first, then it gives him the authority. Is that true, Vaughn? The engineer's dabbling in legal.
The resolution. That's a good point.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, I like that. One less thing that is in the stack of papers that Tara gives me every night would be great. Okay, motion on the table. Any questions about that motion?
No, I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Euler. Motion made by Councilman Marshall. Roll call vote here. Councilman Took.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Councilman Euler.
Yes.
And Councilman Cardin.
Yes.
Item C is approved. Takes us to D, resolution declaring reimbursement intent from future electric revenue bonds for infrastructure expenses. It's a
Thank you,
mouthful.
Mayor. This is a necessary step that has really no binding on us, but gives future options. So let me kind of back up. This resolution allows for us to, if in the future, in the next year or so, we bond for some electrical improvements, that the expenditures incurred from this date back in time 60 days could be eligible for reimbursement with those bond proceeds. So that's the purpose of today's of this resolution. It just simply gives us the ability, should we decide to bond, that the reach back of reimbursement from proceeds from that bond could come back into the month of June 2025. We are in the process of, you bring that map up for me. We are in the process of constructing a 138 kV power line that will circumnavigate, you should have put that word down, that will circumnavigate Spanish Fork City. Today we have a 138 kV substation in this area of Springville that functions on the SUVPS power system. We can draw 138 kV power from here, and today, if people have been paying attention, a 138 kV power line has been constructed from there, following somewhat the route I'm outlining with this red dot, over to about here, maybe right there, Jake, and it will be completed to this point right here. To do that is about $30 million. That's a lot of money. That, so far, is being funded by revenue derived totally and solely from within this project area. So the residents of Spanish Fork are going to benefit from having a 138 kV power system eventually that goes around our city. Cities, utility systems like ours, that's very common. In fact, we've had conversations about constructing a 138 kV power line back in the early aughts. It's a fancy way of saying the 2000s, not the 2010s, in the early 2000s. And you get that from the music, man. The class of '05, right?
Nope.
Class of '05. Come on, Vaughn.
Remember.
Come on. All right, I'll move on. Those are important things to remember. So we'll go around, we'll go to here. Eventually, this needs to go from this point down to a point further south, and then eventually to a point even further off the page. Our plan is to let the industrial development in the VERC project area pay for all of these costs, if we can do that. And we have a plan, and at this moment, everything is proceeding that it can. The funding sources, however, need to be diversified, and we can use bond money from a PID. That's really technical stuff. Sorry, we can use bond money that exists today to get the power to this point right here. In order to go to the next distance, it's likely that we'll need today I'd say $20 million. There's a blank in here, and I'd say just to be safe, I'd put probably $25 million. That doesn't mean that's what we have to bond for, but I think that gives us the flexibility if that's what we choose. But if we do a power bond to pay for this, the revenue we would target would also come from the industrial users here. And something you gave us the direction to study a few months ago was, can we do a rate structure that doesn't increase rates too much, but allows us to create just a little bit of growth and increment in power rates from future power customers in the project area. And at the moment, we're just starting those studies, and we're in the beginning phases, I should say, of those studies. But there is really good information and good indication that, yes, we can do that and have a bond that would allow us to build the second phase of this with revenue from the project area and not require money from the customers, the users of the system, which is an incredible thing, that we can build a ring around the city of 138 kV without really asking the residents to pay for that, but derive that from the industrial project area. So again, this resolution doesn't commit us to anything. It just simply says, and I hope I'm not oversimplifying this, Vaughn, but it simply says that if we do a bond, that we're giving intent to the bond world that expenses incurred from this date, even 60 days before this date, is eligible for reimbursement. We are actively purchasing transformers. And Jake, how much is a transformer these days in a 138 kV realm?
$1.7 million.
And how many weeks? He said $1.7 million. And how many weeks out is one of those transformers? 150 some odd weeks. What is that, 3 years? I think it's about 3 years, right? 52 weeks in a year. It's an incredible thing. So you've got to be looking ahead. You've got to be planning ahead. And what's amazing is you can get in line with just saying, I want to get one, and a few $100,000. So you've got to be thinking, planning, and preparing ahead. And so we're getting ahead of ourselves in a good way, planning and preparing. But again, this gives us the ability, that flexibility to reimburse now for a cost that we would probably have to start to incur now, but may not even see for a few years. So with that, any questions? And Vaughn, this is the most fantastic resolution. This is Aaron Wade's. This is like that stuff that Gilmore Bell.
No, it's definitely
nice
from
job.
Gilmore Bell.
Nice job.
I tinkered it, but no, you didn't oversimplify it. It really is that simple.
Okay. I'd love any questions though, and certainly if there's something that you think a resident may have a question about, I'm happy to answer too.
I don't know if I have a question, but your enthusiasm over the resolution surpassed Corey's enthusiasm over solid waste.
I mean, he set the bar.
Doesn't make sense.
No, he set the bar. I just, it's 8:13.
So, Seth, you're talking about this transformer, 1.7 million. How many more would we need to complete the ring?
So we've already put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or with what is programmed, I think it's 5. I don't know, 2 more. Yeah.
2 more.
Yeah. I remember, this is fun stuff, right? But we were in a council meeting in the old city hall, and some of you might remember, we're like, well, we can get in line for one of these transformers, and they were like $1 million back then, and a year out. And we're like, well, let's get 2. We don't know if we'll need 2, but let's get 2. What a great investment. Like, we should have just bought 5 and then sold them on some kind of external market,
that was my
right?
idea.
What was that?
Yeah, I think it was my idea.
It was your idea.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing what time and costs have done to the electric industry. It's
I don't know
not
if amazing is the right word.
It all depends on how you define it.
Whatever. Okay, so
It's not sustainable, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
it's not. We're not locking in a bond. We're saying that
Correct.
we're going to start making expenditures that we want to be able to recoup from a future bond if we choose to
Yep.
bond. And if we choose to bond, that revenue comes from this project area specifically, and it's not a drain on me as a taxpayer.
Yeah, we would map all of that out in a future meeting. But if we don't do this today, any money that Jake needs to spend on this project in the next 6 months or whatever
Yep.
is outside of it. And frankly, he's going to spend $1 or $2 million in the next little bit. And if we could put that inside of the bond and capture that repayment through the rate structure that we may come up with, we will want to do that.
Yeah.
If we don't do this, then those expenses do land on the current customers. Maybe that's helpful in seeing the value of this. It gives us that ability.
Okay.
Makes sense?
It just felt electric.
Oh boy. Puns are flying around tonight.
He's not.
If there's no other questions for item D, I'd entertain a motion declaring reimbursement intent from future electric revenue bonds for infrastructure expenses.
I move to approve resolution declaring reimbursement intent from future electric revenue bonds for infrastructure expenses.
Motion made by Councilman Took,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Beck, and a roll call vote here. Councilman Cardon.
Yes.
Councilman Euler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
And Councilman Took.
Yes.
Item D is approved. I think we've talked about it before, but important area around the airport and the industrial area that's been there for quite some time, but is growing. If you drive out there, you'll see new stuff, but important aspect of our community out there for sure, and facilitating and being a part of that is a big deal for us as residents too, not for just jobs, but future revenues for the city to fund the things that don't make money. Okay, item E, a board appointment. We're going to have to table to a later date. We've got to do some research on making sure that our airport bylaws allow us to make that appointment. So I'd entertain a motion. Is the motion to table that, Seth? Is that what we're talking?
Yeah.
Or remove it?
I think you can just
You can just
ignore it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're just going to ignore item E. We'll go to item 12 is adjourn to closed session. We do have some items on closed session, so I'd entertain a motion for that.
I move to adjourn to closed meeting to discuss the purchase, exchange, or lease of real property and strategy sessions to discuss pending reasonably imminent litigations in the Explorer Room.
Motion made by Councilman Cardon,
Second.
second by Councilman Marshall. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're adjourned to closed session. Thank you all for coming.